But where I lived, I was around, black folk all the time. Like I was in that environment. That was kind of, where I grew up. That's what I knew. And coming to Richmond, it's not the case. And even some of the black folk who came to Richmond, they weren't, like, we would not have probably run in the same circles if we lived in Dunn, if that makes sense. So, or if I lived in Richmond, for that matter, or wherever they lived, we probably would not have been in the same circles. So there was that culture shock of, where do you fit in? I see specifically a lot of some of the black community that came to University of Richmond. Sometimes they had a hard time with that because if they didn't play a sport, they basically spent that whole first year trying to figure out, is this gonna be my tribe? You know what I mean? We're filling each other out, and they did a thing where they had the black community come in before because there's such a disparity amongst culture groups and ethnicities and that sort of thing. So they would come in. So basically, when you come in, you're like, all right, this is going to be my tribe, without even the knowledge of, what are your likes, what are your dislikes, what are you good at? Not even knowing these people, just the one commonality that we have the same skin color, so we're going to be the same tribe. You know what I mean? And that doesn't necessarily work all the time, but that's what you have to deal with. And then after that, second year, maybe halfway in the second year, then within that, you start to figure out, well, I really like so and so, but I don't like this person, and not that I hate them, but this is gonna be my tribe over here. So that it takes them, a little longer to figure out, all right, who are the 4 or 5 people that's gonna be my group, my tribe. With football, you come in and immediately you have a tribe. Immediately you have your purpose, your goal. All right, we want to win. So if you're white, if you're black, if you're Asian, if you're 6'4", if you're 5'7", it doesn't really matter. We're here to do this one thing. So you have that common goal that unites anyone who comes in and plays a sport, which is a huge, huge, huge advantage over that rest of that population. So I think that was one advantage of kind of doing the football thing. I think something else that the coaches specifically did for us in that Jim Reed era, I keep saying area, that Jim Reed area over there, that Jim Reed era, is that, they were into the lives of the players, like very into the lives of the player. You know what I'm saying? Like they were checking they were doing breakfast checks. They were doing study hall. There was mandatory study hall for freshmen. They were doing, if you didn't get a certain GPA, you're going to be in mandatory study hall for the weekend in the spring semester. You know what I mean? There were classroom checks. There were, you had to meet and talk about what was going on with your coaches and that sort of thing. I don't know the statistics for the number of people who enter college and drop out, but I can imagine, well, I know the reason. They're partying too hard. They don't have good grades. They essentially have no structure. They provided a structure for us to help success, be more of a possibility. And that was huge. And I think, at the time when you're going through that, you're like, oh man, why are we in study hall? I can't get no work done, whatever. Why are they checking our classes and that sort of thing? Funny story. So I missed a class. I can't remember why I missed it, but I was told 6 a.m., 5 a.m., I can't remember, maybe 6 a.m. 6 a.m. on the track, get your chair. I go out there and nobody was there. This is how shook they had me. I was like, I'm pretty sure Jim Reed is around here somewhere. They probably got cameras up here. I literally ran the laps with the chair on my head with nobody out there. Like I did it because I was like, I'm not going to be that guy. They're testing me, you know what I'm saying? Because they said they would be here and they've never not. I've heard the stories, so I was that guy running around the track with a chair on my head. Nobody else out there. I don't know if it was, I don't know. Somebody forgot, somebody messed up or whatever. But yeah, I did my things. I did my things. But yeah, so that was the environment. Did it create more stress? I definitely think it did, but also I think it created a again a culture where you know you're gonna feel like if you're gonna feel like you're given the support if you're not succeeding. You know what I mean? It's not like yeah, we got you here. Oh, you're not gonna make it. I'm gonna kick you out. You guys you're done. You didn't cut it here. Goodbye. Um, and I think for a lot of folks who were in a position to find themselves in study hall, I would dare say that there was probably a lot of that in the past anyway. You know what I mean? So what good is it going to do to say, all right, well, you came here, you couldn't make it, so you're gone. I think it shows an extra level of care. It shows an extra level of concern and basically just love for the players. To say that, you know what, if this is not working, we're going to make sure that you have everything that you need in order to succeed. Um, and even though we might gripe about the way that happened, or I think deep down though we appreciated that, just that level of concern. You know, the breakfast and the the breakfast check thing, maybe not so much, because I'm hearing stuff now like breakfast is probably not even the most important meal. Mark could probably speak on that a little bit. I don't know. Ask him about that. But but some of the other stuff like study hall, classroom checks, and making sure that there's that accountability there. And I always hear inspect what you expect. So we expect you to be in class. We're going to be checking because we value that. We know that's important. That's why you're here. That's what we told your parents when they came on this trip. And that's why they fell in love with us as a school, as a coaching staff, because they know that their kid is not just going to be left out to the wolves. So yeah, I think that's what they brought to the table. As far that's what those things kind of brought to the table. People who disagree with that, but that's my take on it. That's my takeaway from that. So.